The bamboo answered first. In Honjo, an old widow put out her lamp before she said Otsuyu's name. She sat beside a cold paper screen and told me that when a peony lantern swayed outside after midnight, a house should keep its latch closed. I walked the low roads east of Edo in the 7th month, when the river stink rose from the Sumida, and mosquitoes needled through thin robes. The paddies held a green shine under the moon. Temple bells travelled over the water as if carried in wet cloth. Beyond Mukojima, I passed grave lots, boat landings, and narrow lanes where cedar smoke drifted from cook fires after dusk. The story belonged to summer there. People said the dead came easiest in warm weather, when night air clung to the neck and paper lanterns sweated in the hand. Some called her Otsuyu. Some said Botan Dōrō, the peony lantern, and meant the whole visitation rather than the woman herself. In one tea house, I heard Yonaki Botan, the weeping peony lantern. Names shifted by district, but the flower and the night remained. The peony was a rich flower, layered and heavy, fit for painted lantern paper and women's robes. Doro meant a carried light. Spoken together, the name sounded gentle. The old monk in Fukagawa said gentle names often covered the worst arrivals, because no mouth liked to invite dread indoors. The clearest account I gathered in Edo was set in Bunsei years, though older men said it had walked the city earlier. The witness was a bannerman's retired clerk, lean and near blind when he spoke. He remembered a young samurai named Shinzaburo and the sound of women's sandals at night. Shinzaburo had once seen Otsuyu in a merchant garden during Bon season, when lanterns swung above the path and peony petals had begun to bruise brown at the edges. He loved her quickly. Soon after, she died. The clerk said the young man's sleeves smelled of incense for weeks. One humid night, after the frogs fell silent, Otsuyu came to his gate with her maid Oyoni, carrying a lantern painted with peonies. The clerk lived 2 houses away. He heard the bamboo latch click, and then low voices, soft as sleeves brushing tatami in the dark. She returned each night. Shinzaburo grew hollow around the eyes. By morning he moved like a man waking from deep water, and by noon he waited for dusk. The clerk told me sleep left the whole lane. Nobody liked the hour when Oyoni's lantern glow touched the garden stones. People watched for signs. A lantern that showed no wind on its paper. Sandals heard on the veranda when the dog did not bark. A visitor who left no breath cloud near the winter charcoal. In summer tellings, the warning was sweetness, rot and perfume mixed together. I was told never to answer a late knock from a familiar voice until the rooster called once. Never invite a dead beloved past the threshold by name. Women turned mirrors to the wall after sunset during Bon, so longing would not find a face to borrow. A neighbor finally peered through a crack and saw Otsuyu seated close beside the samurai. Her hair shone black under the lamp oil. Her nape looked pale as river shell. When her sleeve shifted, the hand upon Shinzaburo's arm was bare bone, thin and yellow, jointed like a bird's foot. A priest was summoned. In several tellings, he gave the young man a charm and ordered him shut inside before dark. Shinzaburo obeyed for one night only. Then the peony lantern swayed beyond the screen, and longing worked harder than fear. By dawn, he was found clasping a skeleton. In Asakusa, I heard a harsher version. Otsuyu was the daughter of a hatamoto, kept too closely, then dead too young. There was less tenderness in that telling. Her return carried grievance as well as desire, and Oyone's lantern bobbed like a servant still obeying after burial. Kyoto storytellers shifted the setting to quieter compounds and gave the rooms more elegance, more painted screens, more moon over a garden pond. Yet the last touch remained unchanged. Silk first, bone after. The audience knew the turn was coming, but the pause before it was the whole terror. Ueda Akinari's Ugetsu Monogatari carried the tale far beyond Edo lanes. In Asagi ga Yado, the returning wife was not Otsuyu, yet the same chill lived there. Love opened the door. The body had already crossed elsewhere. Learned men cited books. Boatmen kept to the lantern story. the oldest route named for its haunting, reached me through older Chinese ghost tales, where the dead returned at night to continue unfinished attachment. Scholars in Nihonbashi spoke of Jiandeng Xinhua from Ming China, and earlier strains before it. Japan gave the story peonies, summer damp, and Edo doors. As for Otsuyu herself, the form most people knew had been carried by kabuki and kodan as much as by private memory. Still, temple men in Sumida wards showed me memorial tablets linked to local retellings. Smoke from fresh incense clung to the lacquer, and nobody touched them casually. What the road taught me was simple. Houses remembered footsteps. People who had lost someone listened harder after dark than others did. I heard Otsuyu's name from widows, actors, ferrymen, and a novice monk. Each voice changed her face, but every telling kept the lantern moving slowly toward the door. I left Edo by boat at dawn. The river smelled of mud and eel baskets, and the city thinned behind mist. Otsuyu stayed with me less as a woman than as that painted light on black water. What name do you not speak after dark? Type it once,